You know, there are some, the question is, what about rape and incest? And will the legislature maybe try to expand that? Do we expect that? I don't know the answer to that. I know that the governor has gone on record to say that he believes that there should be an exception for rape and incest. We respectfully disagree with that position. I believe a majority of the legislature does not support the exception for rape or incest. But it wouldn't surprise me if the legislature brought that up in January and that was the topic of debate. Along those lines, let me say, first of all, that rape and incest are absolutely horrible, deplorable acts. And we need to punish those who rape or commit incest to the fullest extent of the law. Women who are a victim of rape or incest need to have all the compassion that we can provide. And so we are in no way unsympathetic toward women who are victims of these crimes. But here's the rest of that story. You know, Roe V Wade was based on old 50-year-old science where people didn't really understand the humanity of the unborn child, the fact that it has its own separate blood type, brain waves, a heartbeat, that that's a living human being inside the womb. And so people act as if somehow doing an abortion for a person who's a victim of rape or incest is going to erase all that hurt. And I wish we could erase the trauma of rape and incest. But the abortion doesn't do that. In fact, everything that we read about it and hear people talk about, abortion brings its own set of trauma and difficulty for the woman that I can't relate to as a man, but I know others who know about it tell me how bad it is to go through the trauma of an abortion. And so adding more trauma to an already bad situation is not the right solution. The right solution is to help that woman or girl get through this as best we can and preserve human life as we know we can.
I'm curious, what's your message to women who may feel as though their rights, their human rights, are being violated because of this rule?
Well, we live in a democratic society, and so this ruling was wrongly decided almost 50 years ago. People who have not lived through that entire time or remember the time prior to that don't really have the same perspective that those of us who maybe were alive and around in 1973 when the ruling came down. And so this idea that somehow abortion is a right was never written into the ruling. It was never been part of our law. It's certainly not part of the Constitution. And we're grateful that the court has righted this wrong ruling. They finally did the right thing.
So how long
Similar
have
to
you
the Dred
been
Scott case.
Executive Director of the Family Council?
I've been executive director of Family Council since June of 1989. And prior to that, I worked with the Unborn Child Amendment effort, which amended the Arkansas Constitution to prevent public funding of abortions. That would be Amendment 68. So I started in the pro-life movement in the summer of 1984. So I've been involved in it ever since then.